This is an introduction, I guess, somewhat to version 29C. I'm going to go over some of the differences in it and use it a bit so you can get a feel for how it's done. It varies just a little bit from previous versions. Some things have just been rearranged as far as the location. This right here, these macro buttons, are on the correct column, as this one used to be over here. And let's look at sheet 4. We've got the exhaust port duration and the millimeter above port. These right here, these columns right here give the distance above the port for these different port durations. The graph now just shows the intrusion of the exhaust pulse on the transfer port. And the idea is right around here near the end of the pipe power band to have it not more than 0.9 if it's a double or triple exhaust port, or 0.8 if it's a single exhaust port. So you can figure with the fiddle with the durations and the millimeters above port, recalculating each time and looking at this number right here to show you how much that intrusion is. Sheet 2. Includes automatic calculations for a 60 millimeter long baffle, which I've found to be necessary. And on this version, I don't know if you remember me talking about previous versions and the calculations for the secondary return waves, and that I was recommending not to use them because I was finding it was not in harmony with real life. So I went through those the formulas again and found the errors, or was able to come up with more refined formulas. On sheet 3, when Y is entered here, that's saying yes, I want it to add in the secondary waves to alter or modify the normal diffuser and the baffle wave. And then the graph is going to reflect that whole combination also. And just for kicks, you can put in there and regraph to see how much difference that makes. Wow, pretty big difference. Okay. And that is most of the changes. I'm going to go through a sequence here just to get you used to using it. So let's say we've got a 200cc engine, so I don't have to change this whole section right here. And its exhaust and transfers by the luck of the Irish is something that's already listed here on the chart, so I don't have to look up the above port distance on the website that calculates it. So for 180 it's 35.3. And when you click the calculate button, like I said right here, this is for a single exhaust port, so like around 0.8 is good. 0.77, that's not too bad, but I'm going to lower the transfer just a little bit, just so I can breathe easier there. It's gone up to 0.79. Okay. So we want those entered here. This is the beginning RPM for the pipe power band, and most pipe power bands last for about 2500 RPM, which would be, that's 1000, that's 2000, would be right here, this top gray. So this right here is asking for what you're targeting for the top RPM. And if you don't know, just put the number that's right there, right here. But if you're going to really do this right, you're going to use this calculator right here to figure out what the RPM range is for each gear. And so for what I've already done on this, just an example, it's showing that the RPM range is 1029 in 6th gear and 1725 in 2nd gear. So you don't want the pipe power band to be like too close to these numbers. You want it to have some overlap. So a 2500 RPM pipe power band would be good. So we'll just stick to that. So yeah, we'll just stick to that number we got right there. So if you're using a straight header, which is more ideal for a street bike or a trail bike, click calculate for straight header, and it will set all these distances correct except for the baffle. You don't really know what that needs to be until you go to sheet 3. So we're going to calculate the pipe power band here by clicking autograph. And if it's too short, you lengthen the baffle. If it's too long, you shorten the baffle. So we've got, and the blue graph here, which is the pipe power, from 6,000 to 9,000. That's a 3,000 RPM power band. And we've got a 5.7 average power. And that's just a relative number. Just that really doesn't relate to what you really expect in real life as far as the additional power you'll get from the pipe. Just a point of reference. So in case we wanted to shorten that, we'd go to sheet 2. You can see right here from these baffle change numbers. In case you haven't seen that, the top section here is for the diffuser, and we've got it set on automatic, so we don't have to touch it. And the baffle is the second section. So these numbers go all the way to 180. So well, you can look right here too, 180. That's what is currently calculated into it. We wanted that power band to be a little bit shorter, so we'll click on 140. And you'll see it's shortened to 140 now. So we're going to recalculate right here. This row right here, if those numbers are very far off, like more than 10, not this one because we've got 0 because we're not using a flared header, but this one, this one, this one, if any of those are more than 10, that means you need to recalculate. And so click that. Okay, the largest number we got now is 7, and now we can go back to sheet 3 and recalculate. Yeah, it shortened the power band a little bit and went from 5.7 to 6.5 as the average. That's good. Usually the shorter the baffle, the higher the power. But you know, you have to watch the power band and know how much overlap you want from the RPM range between shifts. So if you're going to change, you know, we've got a 200cc, 8500 is a little bit low. Let's bring that up to 9500 by adding 1000 right here. Okay, so we'll put 95 right here. We'll go back. Since we changed the RPM, we've got to recalculate on this sheet to get our the main purpose of the sheet is to get the exhaust time, the time it takes for that exhaust pressure to go down for the transfers to work. So we're going to click on calculate, and this recalculated exhaust time automatically transfers to sheet 1. Let's look, make sure these numbers are right. They're not. Click calculate. Okay, it took a couple seconds there to do the calculations. Now we'll go sheet 3, autograph. Wow, long power band. Let's go down to, I'm going to go down as low as 60 and see what happens. Go back here, make sure all those numbers are off. Let's recalculate. Okay, now we'll graph. Yeah, so we got from 7,000 to almost 9,500, which is just a hair bit less than 2,500. I like that, and you see the power's gone up to 8.4. That's good. Okay. When you're going through these changes and you want to record any of them, you just click one of these and it'll store that here. When you want to erase them all, you click this one out here. So that's pretty much it. There's also been I need to show you something on sheet 3 about the secondary waves, which I forgot to show you. Most of the changes in the program are not really visible. It has to do with the calculations and the formulas for doing the secondary waves on this sheet right here, as well as some refinement in some other areas. This program is very complex and it can always be refined. Probably till the day I die I will be working on this program. Okay, this skinny little green line is the secondary return waves. The negative one is the diffuser and the positive one is the baffle. And if you change the RPM, you'll see everything changes. This is the worst combination right here. When the baffle secondary wave is positive in this section right here, which is concerning the intake, you want it to be negative to pull the charge up from the crankcase to the cylinder and also pull in more intake charge through the reed valve. And this you want it to be positive as blocking the escape of the intake charge from the cylinder as the piston rises. So when you got that diffuser wave right here, it's lowering that baffle wave, and this one's diminishing this diffuser wave. When I put no here, you'll see both of those waves increase. Yep, that's what happens. Okay, my friend, thanks for watching. Take care.